My dear brothers and sisters here at Holy Cross, we're now on the 13th and last chapter of Paul's second letter to the Corinthians. And in chapter 13, verse 5, Paul says, "Examine yourselves to see whether you are living in the faith. Test yourselves. Do you not realize that Jesus Christ is in you, unless indeed you fail to pass the test?" Now I got to tell you, I have test anxiety. I don't like to take tests. I don't like them one bit. When I was in high school, I would start to sweat the night before a big test, and I would have these kind of anxiety attacks, and I was all worried about whether I was going to pass the test. And I always wanted to get A's on all my tests, and I know that not only was I worried before I took the test, I was worried right before I was going to get the test back. What was going to be on that test? It's going to be an A or a B or a C or a D or, God forbid, an F. Well, Paul's not calling us to that anxiety. He's not calling us to lose sleep over whether we pass the test or not. What he's really saying is, look, I need you day in and day out to examine yourselves, whether you're living deeply into Jesus Christ, whether you are hearing the call of who you are supposed to be day in and day out, whether you're building bonds of harmony and love in the community, or whether you're letting it all kind of go to hell in a handbasket. And Paul is saying here is that you can't live the Christian life without examining yourself and the common life together, without a way of examination, of self-reflection, a discipline of seeing what we're doing right and what we're doing wrong. Well, it's going to be mighty hard to live a faithful life. Now, Paul says after this, do you not realize that Jesus Christ is in you? This is a bold claim. And what Paul wants to say is, not only is Jesus Christ living in you, but that means that you have the responsibility, we all have the responsibility to live out our lives as Jesus lived his own lives, as Jesus calls us to live our lives, individually and communally together. Good news is that the Spirit of Christ has been poured out upon us all. And the good news also is that we've been given the capacity of discernment. We've been given the community to help us with that discernment. Now, my brothers and sisters, in this time of quarantine, we can spend it beating ourselves up, wondering what we did wrong or what we did right, or whether this calamity is from God or not. But Paul wants us to use this time wisely as a time of self-reflection and examination so that we might understand how we might better and more faithfully live into the call and the gift that God gives us in life in Jesus Christ. Amen. God bless.